I'm in the healing ministry. That's my vocation now. And I wrote down here holistic healing ministry. Because of my years of experience, I'm really a part-time paid person. I work for Dr. Robert Peck here on Northwest Highway. He's in Park Ridge. I work in the chiropractic office helping him with, I do massage and other healing practices with Dr. Peck. And then half of the time I'm doing volunteer work. And why do I volunteer at Fisher House? Because it serves veterans, and I'm a grateful veteran. I spent 3 years in the active duty in the Army, 1958, 59, and 60. And this turned out to be a real blessing in my life. When they say that when you get into your 70s and 80s, you reflect back. There's what they call the life review. Some of you have probably heard that. So this is part of my life review. I think about my military years, and I realized that it was a real blessing. I don't know why I joined. I couldn't explain what my reasons were for volunteering to serve in the Army for 3 years. I was going to college. I was in the middle of my college years. I had left the seminary, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. For some reason, I ended up joining the Army. I knew I would always go back to finish my college. You know, I just knew that I was going to do that. But I spent 3 years in the military, and it helped me to grow in many ways. As a child, I was very tall and very thin, so I don't know what I was doing joining the Army, but that helped me grow physically and emotionally. I never felt, if some of you take exercise classes, I'm sure there's a few here that go to classes or work out at home, I never felt so wonderful as when I was walking in the parade. After 8 weeks of basic training, we had a parade, a graduation parade, and I felt, wow, I'm really good, I'm strong, I'm a man, you know. And I never had that feeling, even close to that, you know, growing up. So I felt that I got a lot out of my military service. The other thing I got from my military service I'm very grateful for was meeting this profession, the military career people, both the soldiers, the sergeants, they call it the enlisted men, and then the officers, the commissioned officers. As a group, these are very fine people, and they take their job so seriously that they're here to protect our country. We wouldn't be safe if we didn't have a military. Now, I don't believe in fighting and in wars. I'm actually hoping, I pray all the time that we have less and less wars, and that these wars are settled more by talking over the table and all that. But there's people that realize that until that happens, until people start respecting each other, we have to have protection. We have to have a military. So I was so impressed with the way they dedicated themselves, how their families would sacrifice little children at home while the Navy officer is on a boat for 2 years. The sacrifices they make are really impressive. So I'm volunteering at Fisher House only once a month, doing. I give the wives chair massages. They sit in a chair and I work on their backs and necks and shoulders. But they're so grateful that. They're grateful for all the volunteers that are at Fisher House. Fisher House is, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's where the families can stay free while their disabled veteran is getting care at in this area, it's at the VA of Hines. It's Hines VA in Maywood. So I work there, and then occasionally I do, well, let me tell you the extraordinary experience I had through living my life and through my faith and my prayers, and it relates to this. The wife of a disabled veteran came up to me after a 20-minute laughter class that I led. I was teaching the vets and their spouses in Addison, Illinois. It was in the evening, and this is at the Park District. This is run by a nonprofit group. They bring all the veterans together to help them to keep their morale up. Most of them have illnesses, or they're in wheelchairs or whatever. So this woman came up to me. After we had 20 minutes of laughing, she said, "I want to thank you for the laughter class you brought to VA Hines 5 months ago. 5 months ago you came, and we had a workshop for us wives and caregivers. And after that class," she said to me, "after that class I had a wake-up call." She said, "I finally got the message that God had been trying to tell me through friends and others. Stop trying to solve all my husband's health problems." She said, "I turned my worries over, put everything in God's hands, and I've been a different woman ever since." And she just looked at me like, very calm, beautiful eyes, and shook my hand. And later I realized that this was God at work through me. I was just having fun. I have more fun with my class. I have the best job in the world to be teaching people how to get exercise at the same time that they laugh. And so I'm just, doing my thing, and here she gets this gift to finally stop worrying. And one of the reasons we go to church is to learn what Jesus said how many times? Why are you afraid? Why do you worry? So she got the answer. She got the answer. And I feel that God was speaking to me too, because He wants us to be completely trusting in His care, and to be a real, of course we all remember Jesus said, if you want to get to heaven, be like a little child. I mean, we hear these things, but do we really think about them? Do we put them into our lives? I've had to do that in order to keep growing and keep fighting. So the first tip is an R, it's receptivity. And that's the ability, and I use the dictionary quite a bit doing these. It's the ability and inclination to receive truths and impressions and hunches. It's an open mind. So we don't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere if we have a closed mind. That's just very important. I think it's certainly important to me. So receptivity is one. The second one is affirmations. Affirmation is to declare or state positively, whatever God wants, that's what I want. Whatever He wants for me, whatever He's now sending me out to be a laughter class leader, but 2 years from now, might be something else. Or it might be that and something else. So affirmations are the second tip. The third thing is volunteer. And it's interesting, I looked this word up in the dictionary. Volunteer is one who enters any service, especially military service. It's right in the dictionary. And the second, this one is food for thought. A second definition in the dictionary is to spring up naturally as from self-sown seed. So think about that. When you're a good volunteer, your heart attracts you to something, right? You say, oh, there's a need there and I think I can help fill it. And the fourth tip that I think I need, and maybe some of you could use a little help with that too, is enthusiasm. R-A-V-E. The E is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a keen, animated interest in and preoccupation with something. It's ardor and zeal. And in fact, the word comes from the Greek. It means filled with spirit. Wherever you go, go with all your heart.